Welcome to Design Domination, where you'll learn to become a better, more business-savvy designer so you can dominate your competition. Hi, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Colleen Grotzer, and in this episode of Design Domination, I'm getting into 6 reasons designers should use InDesign's automated table of contents feature. I know. It's such a pain. You got to hear me out and stick around to find out how you could actually be wasting time if you're not using this feature. Most of the time when I review graphic designers' InDesign files, I see that they've built the table of contents by hand. And hey, I used to do this myself a long time ago. I know you might think it's too time-consuming, or maybe you're not sure how to get it to work properly, or you just think tables of contents are a pain in the rear. But there are several problems with creating the table of contents manually, especially if you're working on a large publication. One is that manually creating a table of contents leaves room for error. It relies on you copying and pasting all the headings that should be included. And you could miss one or two of them. You could mistype a page number. And if you ever have to remove or add pages in the layout process, or a page moves because, maybe you had to add a blank page so a section would start on a right-hand page, you'll have to remember to go back to the table of contents and make the change yourself. If the text of a heading changes, for example, you'll have to remember to go back and fix it in the table of contents too. But when you create a table of contents using the built-in feature, you simply select which paragraph styles to include, and if a heading or a page number changes, you can select the option to update the table of contents. So there's little room for error. The second reason is the time savings. A lot of designers just think it takes too long to create a table of contents. I mean, you've got to use paragraph styles, which I know many designers don't do in the first place. But then you simply pick out and add those styles and set up the paragraph and character styles that you want them to use. And then you choose whether or not you want to have the page number appear before or after that table of contents entry. I know creating a table of contents takes a few minutes, but you'll save time in the entire layout process. Having to make a change in 2 places, on the page where the heading appears and in the table of contents, is tedious. But worse is having to write down page numbers and go back and forth and type them in the table of contents. I know because I did that early on. That can be really time-consuming, especially with large documents. And who has time for that? You might as well have taken the time to build the table of contents right the first time, which isn't a lot of time at all. The third reason is flexibility. Okay, and maybe you're not using the table of contents feature because the text that you need to use for the table of contents entries doesn't quite match how those headings appear in the document. For example, in a complex annual report that I work on, the headings for the main sections need to have additional text before them in the table of contents, but that doesn't appear on the page themselves. So what to do? Well, you can create a text frame on the pasteboard that has the text that you want for the table of contents. And I don't mean style-wise, I mean text-wise. So if you need to add other words to a heading that you want in the TOC, then put there what you need it to say. And it doesn't matter how it looks there. You can style it however you want in the table of contents setup. The trick is to make sure that the text frame on the pasteboard touches the page. Otherwise, it won't be recognized. And then in your table of contents setup, instead of choosing the paragraph style of the heading that's on the page, choose what I call the Faux TOC Heading wherever you need that. Now, the caveat with this method is that if something in the on-page heading changes, you have to remember to change it in the text frame on the pasteboard too. Now, maybe you aren't using the table of contents feature because you have more than one document in a publication. Maybe you're working on one section and someone else is working on another one. But it's not only possible to still use the automated table of contents feature, it will actually save you even more time. All you have to do is create what's called a book. Go to File, and then New, and then Book. And then add the InDesign files to the book. And then you open the InDesign files and the book, go to the table of contents styles, select that TOC, and then edit. And just check the box that says Include Book Documents. Now, what if you have multiple TOCs in your document? I've worked on large reports that have had 3 table of contents. There was the main one, and then one for a subsection, and then another for another subsection. Easy peasy though. Just go into the table of contents feature by going to layout and then tables of contents styles, and then select new to create a new table of contents. Reason number 4 is bookmarks. Another benefit to this table of contents feature is that you can have it automatically generate bookmarks. When you're in the table of contents styles, just check the box that says create PDF bookmarks. And now, if you don't know what those are or why they're important, let's talk about that for a second. Bookmarks are what you see when you open the Bookmarks panel in Acrobat. They are clickable links. You can set the Bookmarks panel to automatically open when a PDF is opened by going into File and then Properties, which is Command or Control D, and then Initial View, and then Bookmarks panel and page. And this is all in the PDF. Just make sure to save the PDF and then reopen it to see the bookmarks. Now, you can, of course, add all of the bookmarks in the PDF manually in Acrobat, either one by one or by going to the Bookmarks panel and then its menu and selecting new bookmarks from structure and selecting a style used in the document. But then what happens when you have to go back to InDesign and re-export the PDF? You have to create the bookmarks all over again in the PDF. And that can be a ton of rework. Another benefit to using the built-in table of contents functionality is that you get a clickable table of contents in your exported PDF. You can do this with the interactive setting or even with the print setting as long as you check the box for hyperlinks when you export. You can also generate a table of contents and place it on the pasteboard for the sole purpose of ending up with bookmarks in your PDF, but not a visible TOC. It does the work for you, and you don't have to add a section or page with the table of contents. Another benefit is accessibility. To properly set up a table of contents for accessibility, use the automated table of contents feature along with setting the export tags of the paragraph styles that are used in the table of contents to automatic. And this will ensure that the table of contents gets tagged properly in the PDF and that it functions as it should for assistive technology. Okay, so now I'd love to know, did I change your mind about the automated table of contents, or are you going to continue not using it if you weren't already? Let me know. Comment on the episode page at creative-boost.com, or join me in the Design Domination Facebook group and let me know, or send me an email at colleen@creative-boost.com. If this was helpful to you, I'd really appreciate it if you can take a moment to leave a review on iTunes or wherever you listen, and share on social media so that I can reach more designers.